Hey, everybody, welcome to the Roundtable News Network. I'm your boy, the franchise player, Double B Bad Blood. That right there is the Drew Nicholas. And ladies and gentlemen, we got a special third member of the panel tonight. He is the mixologist himself, Mr. Chemical Julian. Welcome to the Roundtable News Network.
Who's the third man, brother?
Yeah, man, we got a lot of news to talk about. Some good, some bad, some ugly. Let me start it out right now. We were going to start out with a very amazing story that will be covered by your boy, the Drew Nicholas here. But I want to talk about a Florida wrestler who passed away, Frankie Siasto. A lot of people don't remember him. A lot of people do. The guy's been in NWA. He's a former AIWF World Heavyweight Champion, a former NWA Florida Tag Team Champion. The guy's been around for so long. 911 Incorporated, the Market Crashers, one third of the Heartbreak Express. The guy's been around, like I said, forever and a day. Passed away last night in his sleep at the age of 48. This was a story brought by Mike Johnson from BWI Insider. He was originally from New York City. Frankie was trained by Adrian Street. Spent a lot of time at the WCW Power Plant. Worked for IPW, Full Impact Pro, Ring Warriors, D1 PW, ACW, the World Wrestling Network. He was, like I said, a former AIWF World Heavyweight Champion, NWA Florida, FUW, Vintage Pro Wrestling, Coastal Championship Wrestling, a lot of places. The guy's been on TV everywhere. As a matter of fact, I watched the match not too long ago with him and a young Austin Theory before the WWE fame. Apparently, he was going to be on a show this coming weekend, WWE Improving Ground show that happened last night. But he called out, said he wasn't feeling so well, and unfortunately passed away in his sleep. My thoughts and prayers go out to his family. I've known Frankie for a long time, through my time with NWA and with AIWF. So from me and everyone here on the Roundtable News Network, we'd like to wish you a Godspeed and rest in peace.
For sure.
Yeah, I hate talking about news like that. It really sucks. 2024 has already started out with a loss. Not really too happy about that, but the show must go on, I guess. What do you got for us, the Drew Nicholas? I can't hear anything you're saying, Drew.
Yeah, sorry.
I thought it was just me. Right.
I muted to cough and I forgot to unmute myself. So I think that the first big story of the week we need to touch on is Seth Rollins. As we know, yesterday, the popular Twitter account WrestleVotes, which seems to get some news right, they're getting some stuff. They have some sources within the wrestling world. They tweeted that they were told that Seth would be addressing his health and future as World Heavyweight Champion this coming Monday on Raw. Now, of course, Seth Rollins sustained an injury in his match against Jinder Mahal last week, I believe it was. And he was pulled from all live events, which is usually not a good sign. Sean Ross Sapp yesterday reported on Twitter that Seth sustained a torn MCL and a partially torn meniscus. The Wrestling Observer newsletter noted Seth Rollins versus CM Punk, as of right now, is currently confirmed as the WrestleMania plan. However, since Rollins is going to be opening the show on Monday, that may end up not being the case anymore because he could potentially be relinquishing the World Heavyweight Championship.
So here's a question. Given his injuries, how long is he slated to be out of action?
Well, as someone that has a meniscus tear in my left knee, doctors told me 6 to 8 weeks.
So we all know that WB doctors are better than yours. So he should probably back in
Facts.
4 to 6 weeks. I mean, we all remember when John Cena was out injured so many years ago, and he came back to the Royal Rumble like months ahead of schedule. I don't think that Seth Rollins is going to half-ass his rehab. He definitely doesn't want to miss a WrestleMania payday, and definitely one of the hottest angles that could be out there is Seth Rollins defending this championship against CM Punk. CM Punk has often complained about never having his WrestleMania main event, and quite honestly, I'm positive this was part of the conditions of his resigning, that he get a WrestleMania main event. The idea is that Punk wins the Rumble, either wins the Rumble or wins Elimination Chamber. I mean, there's several. I hate to say it, there's several roads to WrestleMania, but I really think that Seth Rollins versus Punk is the more interesting angle than Punk versus somebody who was given the interim title. Hey, I'm going to put the title on Jinder Mahal and have the Scottish Psychopath do a run in to help him, followed by the one-man rock band. Protect the champ, baby, protect the champ. So, but seriously, I think that Rollins is going to do everything in his power. Even if he's at 85%, he's going to do everything that he can to get to that WrestleMania main event.
So, BJ, you said that you have a torn meniscus right now.
Yes.
And they gave you a 6 to 8 week timeline on that. Now, I'm not.
Yep.
I'm not very aware of injuries and how long it takes and what the process is. Now, he doesn't only have a torn meniscus; he also has a torn MCL.
Okay, so that makes it even worse because the meniscus is on the outer side. The MCL is on the inner side of your knee, the inside, the outer part and the inner part of your knee. So that's a double whammy. I've never had, knock on wood, an MCL tear. Thank God. I know a lot of people that have been out for months or something like. I mean, Dakota Kai. That's the same injury she had.
Oh yeah.
And she still hasn't been active in a ring. She's at ringside, but she hasn't been active in a ring.
Correct.
Maybe in house shows. So, I mean, shots. What's her name? The shiniest wizard girl. What's her name? Natty's tag team partner right now. Dang it. Can't think of her name at this moment. But she had double MCL tears.
Wow.
And she was out for like almost a year. So
wow. So it's more than likely he'll be dropping the title then.
I don't want to speculate on that, but realistically, like even with the WWE doctors the way they are,
Tegan Knox,
that's her name. Even with the WWE doctors the way they are, I will tell you, I dropped the OIWA North American Championship with the torn meniscus, but literally I had no mobility. So I went and did business because that's what you're supposed to do. So maybe Seth will do that. Maybe Seth will do business. Who knows?
Yeah, unfortunately, much like when Randy Orton, his back was so messed up. I mean, the whole reason he was tagging with Riddle was just so Riddle could do all the work and Randy could come in, hit an RKO, just protect him until it was time to actually leave and get the work done. Personal story. I remember when Naomi won the women's championship at WrestleMania, and there was such a campaign behind her. I was one of her biggest supporters. I was like totally invested, wanted to see her win the championship. It had been so long. She worked so hard. And then she got injured. And it was one of those weekends where, you know, I went and picked up the kids, came home, SmackDown was on, and Naomi comes in the ring, and I'm like, oh man, it's really cool. Here's Naomi. She's going to challenge somebody. And because of her injury, she said, I don't want to do this, but I'm injured and I can't defend the belt, so I have to give up the title. And Naomi went to the back of the line. Big difference here is Seth Rollins not going to go back to the back of the line. WWE has a very strong main event roster right now.
Yeah.
I mean, ridiculously strong, where the main event for WrestleMania is you're like, well, thank God they have two nights, because there's so much more than just two guys to choose from. So, I mean, I think Seth will jump back in the mix. But if he relinquishes that title, man, talk about rolling the dice. I mean, literally anything could happen in Mania, much less the Rumble. Anything could happen.
Right. That could affect the winner of the Royal Rumble. Because if it was CM Punk, he was going to pick Seth Rollins. Now, does that mean that somebody else wins the Royal Rumble? Does that mean that somebody... Yeah, I mean, in a sense, there are a lot of people... There are a lot of championship caliber wrestlers in the WWE right now. And anybody could easily be holding that title and it'd be relevant.
I mean, right now, as far as the World Heavyweight Championship goes, in the mix, I mean, Seth Rollins is the current champion. CM Punk threw his hat in the ring, saying that he's going to put in his bid for the title. You have Jinder Mahal, who just faced Seth Rollins for that title. You have Drew McIntyre, who's been gunning for Seth Rollins for quite some time now. You have Gunther, who could honestly do a belt versus belt or title versus title championship match. You have Kevin Owens. I mean, there's a lot of different wrestlers in the main event picture.
And somebody else that I just remembered, Mr. Money in the Bank, Damian Priest.
And you have Damian Priest. Quite honestly, if you want to take chicken poop and make it into chicken salad, we have Elimination Chamber before Mania, and you could make the winner of Elimination Chamber get the championship, if Seth Rollins is going to be out. And considering how Elimination Chamber's in Perth, Australia, and you're going to have, what is it 5 people in Elimination Chamber or 6?
I think it's 6.
Yeah. So if you have 6 guys in there, all going after the championship, it would make it hella exciting, and it would be, I mean, it would be a coin toss for who are we going to crown as the new champion. So there's the downside. We don't like to see anybody injured. We'd like to see anybody out, but there's a definite upside exit strategy to the situation. And it reminds me of the WrestleMania where CM Punk was gonna face the Undertaker, what he doesn't consider to be a main event match, but whatever. Right before Mania, Paul Bearer died, and they turned it into an angle where Punk took the urn and was doing the puppet mouth and going, "Oh, I'm Undertaker," and they made him such a heel with that story. I mean, it made him such a heel where I was like, I'm not missing Mania. I'm not that I was going to miss it anyway, but I really wanted to see the Undertaker beat his ass, because he was I was like, oh my God, this is too soon. Like, you're just disrespecting Paul Bearer. Like, oh, what? Who approved this? But man, it made that match so much better. So, here's another unfortunate accident. They can definitely turn this lemon into lemonade and definitely put asses in seats and money in their pockets.
Yeah. So the next story that we can talk about is, of course, Kazuchika Okada leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling. This was a crazy thing that nobody really saw coming.
Correct.
On Thursday, New Japan Pro Wrestling announced that Okada would be leaving the company after his contract ends on January 31st of this year. Fightful Select reported that Okada met with New Japan Pro Wrestling officials, and it was clear they would not come to terms on a new contract, but the departure is amicable, and there doesn't seem to be any ill will towards them between the two of them. So, I think Bad Blood is frozen. Or are you there?
Yes, he is, and he's gone.
And he's gone.
So
So that was a shocking thing that nobody really saw coming, because I'm not really a New Japan guy. The most I've seen of New Japan is Forbidden Door, honestly. But when you think of like people who are lifers of certain companies, it felt like Okada was a New Japan lifer. So
man,
that was really surprising to me. What'd you think of that, Julian?
So here's the thing. A few years ago, I started watching New Japan Pro, the website, and I was watching. I caught like Wrestle Kingdom. I caught some of the J Cup and all that. And Okada in Japan was he was over like Rover. I mean, this guy. I remember his match with Kenny Omega. I've seen his match with Bryan Danielson. In Japan, Okada was just Hulk Hogan style, over the top. When he came to Forbidden Door, it just wasn't the same. And I don't. I mean, I get it. He wasn't cutting promos. He wasn't. He wasn't really. People didn't really know him. Like you were saying, unless you watched New Japan, you don't really know the guy, know his move sets, and know just what a great wrestler he is. And it's the same thing when I watched New Japan and what's his name from who's now in WWE. Oh, geez, what's his name? He was just wrestling. He was just wrestling Cody. He's messing with Cody Rhodes right now.
Oh, Nakamura.
Nakamura in New Japan at Wrestle Kingdom. Spectacular. Fire. The guy was over like crazy. He was just performing in front of the crowd. The crowd was totally behind him. He was great. Came to WWE. He even won a Rumble. And I expected something different. And while he's good, he just never went over the top like he did in New Japan. And so if Okada came to WWE, I wouldn't want him to fall into that same pattern. I saw somebody post the other day about Nakamura joining up, like once Bailey leaves Damage Control, Nakamura joining up with Damage Control, and you having this Japanese faction, which I think would be spectacular. And if Okada did the same thing, if Okada joined forces with Nakamura, that would be great. But the Rainmaker is, I mean, the guy is just, he's fantastic in everything that he does. Even in Forbidden Door, his match was really great, and I really enjoyed everything that he did.
Nakamura, Okada, Kairi, Asuka. What a group that would be.
Dude, that's a solid roster right there.
Wow. That would actually be really cool. BJ, what'd you think about hearing Okada's leaving New Japan?
Okay, so Okada, amazing talent, one of the very best wrestlers in the world. Like I agree with what Julian said about Okada being the Hulk Hogan, the Ric Flair, the Sting,
Yeah.
the Shawn Michaels, and whatever, the Triple H of New Japan. Like he was the guy. He is seriously the the man. He's the man. He was the man.
He was the face of the company.
Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
between Tanahashi, there's so many talented guys.
Naito.
Yeah, Naito. Like the thing you talked about, Shinsuke Nakamura. My biggest fear is that if he does go to WWE, Triple H is going to market him very well for a few months, and a lot of American people aren't going to get the appeal. But with New Japan's strong ties to AEW, I kind of feel like that would be a better fit for him in AEW. You know what I mean? Like he's already had some Forbidden Door matches. He's quote unquote friends with the Bucks. I can see the Bucks, the storyline with the Bucks now,
Sure.
despising vets, bringing in someone like, someone like Nakamura, not Nakamura, bringing in someone like Okada to be part of their little faction. Like I could see that happening too. But right now, if he's looking at going to WWE, and I know Fightful Select talked about him leaving in New Japan, and the WWE was really trying to get him. I mean, if that happens, that's a big pull for WWE. I'll see that.
So, just real quick, I just want to say that this will be funny coming from my mouth. I would kind of rather see Okada go to AEW for a number of reasons, and one of which is he just came off this huge match with Bryan Danielson. That would give them carte blanche to do 3 matches, best of 5. I mean, whatever. But also, if he came into AEW running roughshod, let's say you had him take out Orange Cassidy, get the international title. When Kenny Omega comes back, that would be just the angle of all angles. And what AEW really needs to do is put him with a manager, put him with a mouthpiece, put him with somebody who's going to, introduce him to the American wrestling fans who don't watch New Japan. Have him be the new the new alpha or whatever they're calling Takeshita. Just build an army of these international wrestlers. Have him talk shit. Have him, go ahead and run down Kenny Omega. Have him make a list of people that he just needs to kind of close the door on, or people he needs to get revenge on, whatever. And there's a pretty good. I mean, Jay White is there.
Osprey will be officially.
Osprey. Yeah. Anybody who's been part of the Bullet Club. I mean, like all of that. And he could have a great run, and he could have several months worth of feuds to go through, which would be highly entertaining and would be great for the fans.
Yeah, I think, and for Osprey too, Osprey to be in that Don Callis group, and then having Okada in that group too, after they just wrestled each other not too long ago.
Correct.
That would be really interesting, and also to see Takeshita, who I didn't think would work as a heel, but I think is doing a really great job. He's doing a really great job in the Don Callis family.
I think he's so good because of Don Callis. Like Don Callis is a great mouthpiece and can get anybody over. He's the new alpha when it came to Takeshita. Like Takeshita's an amazing worker, amazing wrestler, top notch. But the fact that Don Callis' mouth is behind him makes it 100% better.
And the last part of it is WWE's main event roster right now. I wouldn't want to see Okada get fed to Gunther and just, I mean, he would have to win. He would have to win the title because if he
Now,
just got
other thing too, and this, you said, oh, it's funny that you would be saying, oh, you think he should go to AEW. It's funny that I should be saying I would be a little concerned also about him going to AEW, considering how bloated their roster is.
Yeah.
Because there's so many people at that top level in that company, and sometimes, unfortunately, because we're going to be talking about, the next story is somebody who's leaving AEW, probably for a reason that I'm saying now. There's so many people and not as many stories being told at all.
You know, the one thing I must say about AEW, I know a lot of people dislike multiple, like a plethora of titles or championships, but this being professional wrestling, having championships gives you something to go after, like a reason for you to be wrestling. Like, yeah, I'm not here just to go to catering. I'm here to be a champion. And so, I mean, there's the World Heavyweight Championship, there's the TNT Championship, there's the Tag Team Championships, there's the International title, there's the Six-Man Championship. Um, there's more of an opportunity for him in AEW in that regard versus if he goes to WWE, it's like, well, you can go after the Intercontinental Championship where there's a guy who's been champion for 500 something days, and well, we're trying to make his reign the longest of any previous time. Then there's Roman Reigns. Sorry, not Roman Reigns, because he's going to be going after The Rock, and he's going to be wrestling, Randy Orton or AJ Styles or LA Knight. And then people are going to say, oh, look, LA Knight, someone who came in, now they dropped him back a notch. He's not going to go after the U.S. title. I mean, come on. And and WWE is doing their best right now to get the men's tag team championship stabilized. So, I mean, you're going to pair him with Nakamura and have them go after the tag championships? I mean, that's less of a story than what would be told better in AEW, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. But wherever he goes, he's going to be a big get for either company.
Oh, sure.
I mean, he's actually even been wrestling in TNA. What about Okada in TNA?
I was just going to say that TNA right now they're doing so much when it comes to bringing new talent. I mean, Nick Nemeth, former Dolph Ziggler, he's there. Like, can you imagine having the Rainmaker versus Nick Nemeth? Rainmaker versus Steve Macklin.
Yeah, and that would all be great. And I love TNA. I love their product. I love their shows, their production, and all that. But again, I'm going to say, where do you see them? And it's just about visibility. It's about that time slot. It's about that platform or station that they're on. And I mean, they can pay you a buttload of money. That's great. Okada's going to get paid wherever it happens. And his schedule at TNA would be light, but he's just not going to get the exposure that he probably wants. Now, in the U.S., it's probably a lot bigger exposure than New Japan. That's just a given. But remember, last time he was in TNA, he was dressed as Kato.
Yeah, I don't want to see that again. I don't want to see that again at all. Like that was not good.
Yeah.
So I get what you guys are saying. I totally understand. 100% behind it. Yeah. So what do you got? What else you got there? The Drew Nicholas.
So we talked about two people who stories. I'm actually going to be. You mentioned Roman Reigns, and we've mentioned another person who's probably frustrated with their AEW run, and I'll mention him first. Andrade is officially leaving AEW. He's finished with AEW. Reportedly has an agreement to go back to the WWE. Andrade's original deal with AEW was 2 years, but injuries added time, leading for him to be signed through the end of 2023. Andrade was reportedly frustrated at the end of the deal, and days before World's End, he informed AEW he would be finishing up. So WWE has not confirmed yet that Andrade is heading back to the company, but it is looking likely that he's going to end up there. Now, of course, we know that his wife, Charlotte Flair, is in the company, and she's injured right now. But I think that, and of course, he lost his match against Miro at World's End. I was there at that show. Where, of course, CJ, the former Lana, Miro's wife, ended up turning on Andrade to go back with Miro. She's also dealing with like a finger injury too.
That thing it looks gross.
Yeah, it does.
I mean,
but we hope that you're doing well.
Yeah, I hope she gets a whole lot better, because that. You know what? You always hear wrestlers talk about the germs on the mat, if you will, and the fact that she was slapping the side of the ring and a splinter, jammed into her finger. I can only imagine she's probably got hepatitis A, B, C, D, E, and F.
Ouch.
I hope she gets better. I hope that heals up. I hope she recovers from this.
Yeah, so we all know about those diseases. We watch really awful wrestling every Friday night.
Oh my God! Yeah,
and those spreading aplenty in those matches that we watch.
Man, you know what? It's funny. You mentioned Miro, and man, I enjoyed Rusev in WWE. Dude was over like crazy, and why they just couldn't work that out is beyond me.
I know. Because
he was like a perfect heel to go after the Intercontinental Championship, and to have the kind of run that Gunther's having right now. Because Cena got this dude over. I mean, his feud with Cena was fantastic. Miro coming to the ring in a tank and all that. I mean, it was just over the top. Just that was great. The whole Rusev Day thing was fantastic. But Andrade more than likely will come back to lead either the LWO or the or like another faction with I forget the guy's name or the tag team's name, but he'd come back and do that, or he can just return and go after the Intercontinental Championship. He can go after.
Are you talking about Humberto and Angel Garza?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it would be really. I think him in WWE, I think he would do really well right now, which is not something I would have said even a year ago.
Yeah, I think there's definitely room for him on SmackDown.
Well, with the WWE venturing into Latin America,
yes,
it's right now is the perfect time. We all know Triple H is always talking about his global, what do you call it?
Expansion or
global expansion. Yeah, he wants to be in Japan. He wants to be, and I mean, they're going to be in Australia. He wants to be more places than Saudi Arabia. He wants to be in. They just, they want Canada. They want to be in Japan. They want to be WWE UK, WWE Mexico, WWE Cuba. WWE.
Yeah.
Botswana. Like they want to be everywhere.
WWE Kazakhstan.
Yeah, I mean, he really is trying to make the WWE the world wrestling entertainment. He wants to be around the world. Everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, look at NXT in the North American Championship. I mean, that's the Black Championship title. So, I mean, they could make that the NXT African title if they wanted to.
Back in the day, they used to be the Intercontinental Championship, but we won't talk about that. So big news coming out of AEW.
Oh,
Thunder Rosa returns to the ring tonight for AEW Collision for the
Oh.
first time in over a year. They announced she returned
thought
to
She wrestled.
yeah, she
recently.
wrestled recently, didn't she?
She was in a tag
but
match.
she's returning to Collision. She was
Okay.
on Dynamite, whatever,
Yeah.
Rampage, or whatever. Previously announced for tonight AEW Collision card, which we will be watching. Bryan Danielson and Claudio Castagnoli of the Blackpool Combat Club take on the AEW Continental Crown Champion Eddie Kingston and Ortiz. Adam Copeland continues his open challenge. We got Daniel Garcia versus Buddy Matthews of the House of Black.
Okay.
We got John Moxley versus Shane Taylor, which I hear was a phenomenal matchup.
Oh, that sounds good.
Yeah, I mean, I cannot wait for that. But most importantly,
Wow, that sounds like a good show.
what I can't wait for, WrestleMania weekend.
Oh yeah,
WrestleMania
baby.
weekend. WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. We got Amazing Red from House of Glory Pro Wrestling.
What? Wait, hold up. The last time I heard Amazing Red was TNA, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but he was one of the owners of House of Glory.
Dude, but he's fantastic.
Oh, he literally is amazing.
Yeah.
But his opponent is amazing in his own right. The man who's on the global tour, Mustafa Ali
Yes.
versus Amazing Red.
Okay.
House of Glory.
Anybody has not seen Mustafa Ali's promo for his global tour? Fire.
Yes, sir.
I
Yes,
mean,
sir.
this is like one of the best produced promos in a long time.
It's not WWE.
That just gets you excited to see. The only question is like, okay, where is he going? Like, where can I see him? You know, and dude, his promo was just. I was so behind him. I was just like, where was all this when he was sitting again? WWE loaded roster. I when you have a loaded roster like AEW and like WWE have, sometimes you just got to hit the road and go make your money elsewhere. Cody Rhodes did it. Drew McIntyre did it. Nick Nemeth is doing it. Woo woo, you know it, brother. He did it too.
Oh yeah.
There's more than one place, or two places, I should say, to go make your dollar in the squared circle, and those guys have proven it time and time again. I'm happy for him, 100%. Amazing Red. I loved all of his work. I used to think of him like a modern day Blitzkrieg. Blitzkrieg in WCW was fantastic. So I'm down for it. I'm here for it.
So April 5th, live in Philadelphia at the Trinity Center and the Urban Life Center, streaming live on Thriller TV, which is Fight, I guess. Mustafa Ali versus Amazing Red at both House of Glory and Wrestling Revolver. And that's going to be on Mustafa Ali's 2024 World Tour. These are two of the best cruiserweights in the world. Fans have been asking for this. You know, this is going to be freaking amazing. Amazing Red has been one of the most influential wrestlers over the last 20 years.
Yep.
Has held numerous championships. I've faced Amazing Red, one of the best matches I've ever had in my life. I can't wait. Tickets go on sale for both those shows January 22nd at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 6 p.m.
6 p.m.
Pacific Standard Time. You can go find more information on House of Glory and Wrestling Revolver's social media channels. And what's going to happen when these two guys get together April 8th, man? You can watch that live on pay-per-view. It's going to be amazing. Me personally, I will be in Philadelphia WrestleMania week, so I'm going to try to get a hold of somebody to get tickets to this because I need to go see this. Now, here's some legal update on one Nicholas Boella, aka Nick Hogan.
Oh, jeez.
Nicholas Boella, aka Nick Hogan, the son of WWE Hall of Famer Hulk Hogan, had a pre-trial hearing earlier this afternoon. This is from PWI Insider's Mike Johnson. And basically, he just waived his right to a speedy trial. So a new hearing is set for February 23rd of 2024. Basically, Boyle was arrested on the morning of 11/18/23 at 4 a.m. in Clearwater, Florida, where he was returning to his house from a bikini contest held at Hulk Hogan's restaurant.
I'm sorry. Wait, what?
A bikini contest. That's what I said.
You know, I thought that's what you said, and I
don't write the news, man. I just report it. Okay.
Look at Elizabeth, brother. She's wearing an itty bitty, teeny weeny bikini.
So he refused to take a breathalyzer.
Oh shit!
Told the cop, "Do you know who I am?" The cop said, "Yes, I do." Took him into custody. Okay. So the arrest report says Boella noted in his 2021 Dodge Ram had approached a traffic. He had approached a stoplight, and he approached he got traffic stopped. Boella was approached by two officers as he was driving in the median lane.
Oh fuck!
So that's in the middle lane. Ladies and gentlemen, basically he was allegedly drunk driving in the middle lane. The officer pulled him over and said that there was a strong odor of alcoholic beverages in the car. The cop said he was described as swaying back and forth. Unsteadily, his eyes were glossy and bloodshot. He's shown signs of impairment and performed poorly on the field sobriety test.
Mm-hmm.
I will tell you this right now, as a sober person, I wouldn't pass a field sobriety test because the whole balance thing. Yeah,
I can't even say the alphabet backwards.
So. I can't say it forward sometimes. Backwards would kill me. So yeah, I mean, the police body cam says that that was posted on YouTube. I'm gonna go find that, by the way. Shows him denying that he'd ever been drinking when he got pulled over. The cops said he could smell alcohol all over him. So basically, he's pleading not guilty. He waived his right to a speedy trial, and now he's going to be going to trial February 23rd.
Okay, hold on. Let's remember he has a prior.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's got a very famous prior where he got into an accident and he killed.
Someone died. Allegedly, someone got killed.
When it wasn't allegedly, he went to jail for it.
I mean, he went to yeah.
I mean.
I don't want to be out there. I don't want to be out there throwing it out there, but yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah. Okay. So the judge is not going to be kind to him.
No.
I believe Florida has a 3 strikes rule, so he's got to be real careful now.
We've seen things like Jeff Hardy getting his license permanently suspended forever. You know, like you go.
We saw Sonny.
Yeah, we saw Sonny. Get X amount of years in prison due to these situations. So, I mean, you know, sometimes people don't learn.
Bro, you know, the whole "do you know who I am?" I mean,
that's such a tacky, stupid thing to say.
Not only that, but because you went to jail previously for similar circumstances. Do you know who I am? Oh, yeah, we know who you are. That's not a good thing.
Yeah, right. They shouldn't know who you are.
Yeah, you don't want the cop to say, "Yeah, I know who you are." You'd be like, "No, who are you?" But this cop might have been like, "Oh yeah," because when he ran his plates, his record came
up. It was like, I definitely know who you are.
I definitely know who you are.
Exactly.
Oh man,
crazy. Well, hopefully, you know, like with Jeff and other people in the past, hopefully he can get some help and we don't have to hear about him being in prison for the rest of his life because he got drunk again and killed somebody. So,
yeah. I mean, I hope and pray that he does get some help. It's a bad situation, man. It's a bad situation when you put yourself into something like that. It's an even worse situation when it happens again and again and again
and again.
Yeah. So now I have one more story that I wanted to touch on. And Hulk Hogan is somewhat involved in the story. Yesterday, Roman Reigns surpassed Bruno Sammartino's second world championship.
Correct.
of 1,237 days. So now Roman Reigns is at 1,238 days as undisputed Universal Champion.
He's past my 1,013 days of champion. Certainly past that.
So now he has the fourth longest world championship reign in WWE history. And in order to be the third longest and surpass Hulk Hogan's reign of 1,474 days, Roman will have to hold on to the title until mid-September of this year.
Correct.
So do we see that happening?
You know, we talked about this before a while ago. Having Roman Reigns hold that championship for so long not only makes the title stale, and I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to make him the greatest of all time, have him destroy all records. I mean, WrestleMania is going to be The Rock versus Roman for the head of the table or whatever, whatnot, right? He defeats The Rock, he becomes the greatest in the Samoan dynasty. He becomes the true head of the table, right? But surpassing Hogan, surpassing Backlund, surpassing this guy, that guy, the other guy, these many guys, Pedro Morales. Like back in those days when Pedro Morales and Bruno Sammartino were champions, they weren't defending the title once every like 6 months.
Correct.
They were defending the title like damn near weekly.
But the difference
or at least
was,
once a month.
But the difference was when they were defending the title, it was in a very specific territory. Unlike today, where title if you have a title defense, and you're Roman Reigns, so it's not going to happen on a house show. But if you have a title defense, it's on pay-per-view. I'm sorry, it's on premium live event. So he's going to defend it 4 times a year, maybe 6. Let's say 6 and stretch it out. When Hogan was champion, he defended it on pay-per-views and Saturday Night's Main Event. And people were being fed to him on a regular basis for him to destroy the big monsters. For Roman to make it to mid-September, that means he has to win at WrestleMania. And if he wins at WrestleMania, that means that Cody has to lose again. Cody losing the first time, I think, was great. Like, people were upset, like, probably second only to The Undertaker losing his streak. But for him to beat Cody again would be... I definitely throw a flag on the field on that one.
Well, that's going to happen. We already know it's going to happen.
Unless Roman says, tell you what, I'll let you challenge for the Universal Championship, but not the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, we talked about that too. That could happen. But
yeah,
the lineage is the WWE Championship anyway. So
correct.
I agree with you on that. I just don't like. I guess I just don't like the longevity of the championship reign being the way it is. Remember when the WWE, when we had good old Jack Tunney as the WWF president of record. Remember championship matches had to be a champion had to defend the title once every 30 days?
Yep, I remember that. And if you couldn't defend it every 30 days, you got stripped.
Yep. We will never see that again.
Yeah.
Well, see, here's the funny thing, too, that you just mentioned that. Now, we always talked about how Brock, when Brock was the Universal Champion and the WWE Champion, he would only show up once every 3-4 months.
Yep.
Similar to what Roman is doing right now. And we always wanted the championship off of him eventually. So it's like, it's cool that he wins it off of somebody in a good match, and then all of a sudden, you just don't see that championship again anymore.
Yeah.
And there was how much of...
Thank you.
hypocrisy there was with Julian, you just mentioned on the show, when Naomi got injured and had to relinquish, she had to relinquish the title.
Yep, sure did.
But Brock could be gone for 3 whole months with the title and not have to relinquish it. But the reason that Naomi was given, I remember this too, just clear as day. I believe it was even Bryan Danielson at the time, the GM of SmackDown, that said this, was like, oh, you're not going to be able to defend it in 30 days.
Correct.
But what about Brock? What about Roman Reigns now?
We can go on a whole tirade about the injustice of women's wrestling and the favoritism of certain guys. But quite honestly, like it would fall on deaf ears. The whole thing is just too much. It's too much, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Well, that's all of my stories. I don't know if you guys have anything else.
Well, I do got the NWA's new unnamed show will be airing on the CW streaming app.
Oh, yeah.
As well as future episodes of NWA Power starting February 6th.
Oh, sweet.
So
I've always enjoyed NWA Power.
Recap. Who knows? But with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on the Roundtable News Network. For the Drew Nicholas and the mixologist, Mr. Chemical Julian, I am the franchise. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to join us on twitch.tv/Roundtable Pro Wrestling POD, we're going to be streaming live AEW Collision. So
in about 30 minutes.
Yeah, 30 minutes. So we will see you when we see you.